Hi, this is Brian, and you're watching the Flaming Brain Podcast. Hi, my name is Brian, and this is my podcast, The Flaming Brain. I'm glad you joined in. You must be very intelligent and have an innate curious nature, and I am going to do my best to fulfill that. But before I get going, I've got 3 disclaimers that I need to dispense. First, my face. I have a condition called tardive dyskinesia, which is characterized by permanent and uncontrollable muscle movement in my face. And this has come from taking psychotropic medications for way too long. And this is permanent and it sucks. It also makes it hard for me to talk sometimes because my tongue doesn't cooperate. So please give me a little leeway on my face and my talking. But I'll tell you what, and you might want to send the kids out of the room right now, but if it wasn't for this Austedo medication, this is what my face would be doing right now. Yeah, really pleasant, huh? So I thought for a while, well, I'll just wear a mask. And I can make the mask be different things. And, but then, no, I gotta do this without a mask, so. Anyway, so that's what's wrong with my face and my talking. Number 2 is this podcast. You'll notice this is very amateurish, very much a throwback to an earlier day, because I have no help with anything, not with content creation and script writing and shooting video and editing and light and sound. I kind of lose it around that. So for a while at least, it's going to have this very homegrown, amateurish feeling to it. And I'm hoping in rather short order that someone's going to say, hey, I want to be involved and do all your technical stuff. And that would be just wonderful. The third thing is the most disturbing. I've been living with dementia-like symptoms for about 6 years, and I finally had a CT scan that showed I don't have dementia. But then I had a MRI which showed I have something called microvascular white matter disease. And this is when the shrinkage in the blood vessels in the brain don't allow enough blood to get to your white matter, and the white matter is where your nerve endings are. And as this progresses, it just makes it more and more difficult for one part of the brain to speak to the other. So it can really disrupt your activities when you're thinking about doing something, but you can't like get your legs to move for 5 or 10 seconds. Not a very ideal situation. And it is fatal. And you can't treat it or do anything about it because when the blood vessels are shrank, they shrank. And I was reading one thing online that said most people who are diagnosed with this die within 2 years. So I don't know what my prognosis is, but I know I'm heading towards that much sooner than other people. So anyway, that's the deal, and yeah, that's it. Now, my podcast is a lot different than most others because this isn't about political commentary or talking about male-female relationships or movies or a lot of the stuff that most people talk about. I'm all about the things I've done in life because most people, when they hear some of my stories, are just totally amazed that I've done so many incredible things. So Monday is going to be Bipolar Monday, where I'm going to spend the time over a period of about 8 months to really drive home how horrible it is to be bipolar. I mean, I can tell you stories that would make your toenails curl. So that's what it's going to be on Monday. And then on Wednesday is Inventor's Workshop, where just like with bipolar, I'm going to spend probably 6 to 8 months going down a path of taking someone through every step they need to take something from here to something here like this, which I did. I invented this in '97 and made millions of dollars off it. It was Disney's biggest selling product. So that'll be Wednesdays, all about inventing everything you need to know. And although I don't consider myself an expert, and I never would call myself that, um, I'm operating on just everything I've learned as an inventor. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt that I'm not a patent attorney, I'm not an engineer, I'm just a lowly old inventor. So that's that. And then on Friday is going to be my favorite because this is Adventure Fridays. Because, like I was saying earlier, I've had incredible adventures that most people wouldn't consider, like building a submarine in Fiji and building a rocket. My goal was to go 30 miles high. So, yeah, Wednesdays or Fridays is going to be Adventure Day. And, yeah, it's going to be good. And then I'm hoping every other Sunday to do a little travel log around the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, because it's so beautiful here and so many places people don't even know exist. So that's pretty much the rundown on what this podcast is all about. And like I said earlier, I really hope that people are entertained, educated, and enlightened by what they see. Um, yeah, that's what I'm hoping to gain here. And oh, by the way, don't forget to go out and get my book. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and it's a great book. It's my autobiography. I just wrote it. Just came out 2 weeks ago. So, well, here's a quick look at just some of the many things I've invented. All kinds of things, utilitarian things, toys, lots of toys. I invented hundreds and hundreds of toys, but all in all, I've invented about 800 things, about half of which I've actually gone on to produce prototypes of. And of course, my light chaser earned me millions. When it comes to skydiving, most people will make their first jump a tandem like this. Then, if they want to really become a skydiver and learn to free fall, you do what's called an AFF. And after you've done that, then you can jump on your own, and it's so amazing. I wish everybody would do it. And like skydiving, paragliding is incredibly beautiful and wonderful. You can go low or you can go high, but it's really a fabulous activity. And then, of course, there's powered paragliding. I mean, what can I say? I used to love flying my ultralight. It was so much fun. Great flyer, but not always the best when it came to landing, as you can see. And of course, there's the wonders and joys of scuba diving. And this was my absolute favorite dive in Hawaii with 5 of these giant manta rays. But my greatest adventure to date was going to Russia and flying in a MiG-25 at 2.5 times the speed of sound at a staggering altitude of 85,000 feet. Yes, I can tell you for sure the world is simply not flat. And then on another trip to Russia, I got to train with Russian astronauts for a week, and it was awesome. And then my other antennas also pointed at it. Then came my rocket project and my goal of building and launching myself in a homemade rocket with the goal of going about 30 miles high. And it was my biggest and most long standing project. I worked on it from 1994 2005 to 2006. But unfortunately, um, well, for reasons I'll go into later, I just was never able to launch. These are a couple of my different rocket designs. That's the plug I made the mold of. And then this was the first capsule I built, but then I decided to lose the fins and go with this instead. This was my rocket garden at the rocket compound. I could train there. I had the centrifuge, the mad machine. Yeah, this was one of the coolest things I ever built. As was my mad machine. And of course, my really cool little hovercraft. But my favorite project ever was in 86 and 87. I lived on a 500-acre island in Fiji and built a little tourist submarine. And of course, I had to build my little dogs, a Luke Skywalker land speeder, because they love Star Wars so much. And then, when the media heard about me and my rocket, it became a literal constant. I did 87 television shows in 4 years, from To Tell the Truth to Conan O'Brien with Snoop Dogg, and it just never seemed to end. I did hundreds of radio interviews, countless print stories. It was amazing. So, in a nutshell, that is what my podcast is all about. I think people are going to be interested in it and like it because it's so varied. There's so many topics I'm covering and so many stories I have to tell that I think it's going to really be great. So please hit the like button and subscribe and tell everybody you know about the Flaming Brain. Oh, and don't forget, go out and buy my book. It's a perfect companion to this podcast. Thank you. And don't forget to chew your big red gum, or you might have someone upset.
I'm Ricky Bobby. If you don't chew Big Red, then